Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Perspective. We'll be talking about indictment we've seen of the former Prime Minister and other PTI leaders and the ramifications of this on the overall political process at this time, and also the fact that we've been hearing about the last card, so to speak. What kind of last card can we expect as far as the political party itself is concerned, its workers are concerned, their social media rhetoric is concerned? Is there a difference in what the party leaders want to do on ground, but what is expected of them? We'll be talking about all of that today. I have with me Dr. Shezra Mansab Ali, who is from the PML-N. Thank you for being with us today. We also have with us Ali Rashid, who is with the Sindh government. Thank you for joining us today. And Muneeb Qadir, who's a political analyst, also a lawyer. Thank you for being with us today. We'll also have other guests. I'm going to go to Dr. Shezra and then Dr. Shezra, overall, we're now hearing about this last card from the former Prime Minister. What is this last card? I mean, and what kind of a plan or way forward do you think that the party now has? Is there a difference in between what the party leadership envisages versus what the on-ground realities are in terms of the workers, the mobilization? How do you look at it?
Thank you very much, Mahrukh, for having me on your program. What has happened is that now we have a very clear pattern that has emerged in the last, let's say, a year since Imran Khan has been incarcerated, and that is that he keeps giving calls to the workers. He keeps his work, the leadership that is on ground uses language that is an incitement to violence. They get all the workers out and then they just abandon them and they leave them and they disappear. Number one. Number two, the demands that they keep putting forward is a demand that is in any case not something that can be met by the government, and that is that Imran Khan should just be released from jail. Now that is just very strange because he has cases that are pending in the judiciary and he can only be released or not released as his guilt is established or not established. So really what they are doing is so confusing that the party itself has now become confused. And the workers have now become, I don't think they will be want to come out again and again just to be abandoned at the last moment. And because at first they are given all this rhetoric that makes them very emotional, and they are told that they are going to come and not leave that place till Imran Khan has been released. Now the latest in the leadership was the wife of Imran Khan, Bushra Bibi, who also said the same thing, that I'm not going to go away from D Chowk till Imran Khan is released. And then she was the first one to go away, run away from there. And now today, I think she was saying somewhere that she did not leave till 12 o'clock, which is a provable lie because her location was somewhere else at 12 o'clock. She had already left at 11 o'clock.
But she's saying that she was forced to leave and that she was, not allowed to stay as she had wanted to.
But their own leaders, some of her sister, I think, was the one who said that Gandapur forced her to leave, and then Gandapur and other leaders said that obviously she was not forced to leave. So there's nobody knows who forced her to leave. There was no, some of the footage that has been seen of her leaving doesn't seem to be showing any force at all. So the point is that the workers are now really disillusioned by what this party is doing. The leadership that is on ground is also disillusioned. Many of them say that they really have now no say in the party, that the overseas chapters of PTI are controlling the way the narrative is going. They are controlling the social media accounts, which is upsetting to the leaders here on ground. Some of them are resigning, some of them are saying things against each other. So there is total confusion. And what is the outcome that they're hoping to achieve? And the last card that Imran Khan is talking about reminds me of that last card that you remember, that he built up this whole momentum last time also before he was jailed, that I have a last card that is going to be played. And what was that last card? It was the cipher. It was that cipher that he then said that I've got this last card and that's going to change everything. But it was nothing at all. It was all a pack of lies that was exposed by Donald Lu and the American, government, who said.
On that note, Shezra, let me come back to you. I'm going to go to Muneeb. Muneeb, you heard what Dr. Shezra is saying. In terms of the last card, do you think it could mean that he, from what could he mean? Is it like, we saw Gandhi's last card, for example, who went on some kind of, starvation, refused to eat? What kind of a last card does the former Prime Minister mean from the jail? Now that, the situation is before us, from when the protest happened to now, where, like Dr. Shezra is saying, there is so much different narrative that is coming across. There are so many different versions that are being told all over. So there is it seems like general disarray at this time.
In 1947, people of the subcontinent, when they played the last card or the final card or whatever one wants to call it, they were standing on principle. Yes, they did go on hunger strike, and many other kinds of sacrifices were made. It's because those people were visionaries. They had certain principles that they were standing upon. Now, you cannot compare the founder of PTI with him. None of us can do that. It's because there are no principles here. There are only pressure tactics. There is only agitation on the streets and whipping up, a frenzy, whipping up this sense of, I think, injustice among people. That we can't point our fingers at what injustice is being meted out to you people, but somehow there is an injustice. And the injustice, so-called, is that a particular political party leader who is behind bars because he has a lot to answer for, and he is yet to be found, to be not guilty. He's yet to be acquitted by the courts, if he ever gets acquitted, that is. So let's not go through the judicial process. No. Let's stand out on the streets. Let's get into the red zone by violating every single court order, by violating every single law.
According to them, they say that the judicial process, and correct me if I'm wrong, is rigged against them. That there's overall the system is rigged against the political party and its founder, and the mandate, so to speak, as it was, has not been accepted. All of that, and therefore they have been they're rallying against that narrative.
Right. So. Yeah. Why exactly were they celebrating Bushra Bibi's having gotten bail from the courts just, a couple of weeks ago? Now, that's a different story, that she did not live up to her bail conditions and she did not appear for the hearings related to Tosha Khana case. So now there's again an arrest warrant against her. But was she not given some leeway? Actually, not some leeway, a lot of leeway, which I don't think that many others would get. And also, why were they celebrating court decisions which had allocated reserve seats to, the Sunni Ittihad Council and PTI coalition, or whatever one wants to call it? So how can they then stick to, if they're celebrating all those court judgments, or if they have celebrated those court judgments as vindication of their narrative, then how can they, by the same token, claim that the courts are pitted against them? So that's what I'm saying. They're not standing on any principles. They're not standing on any coherent narrative. It's all about, being impulsive, being reckless, being irresponsible, and being instinctive. So if the instinct tells them that they want to pressure the government and they want to pressure the state into acquitting the PTI founder from Adiala jail just because they cannot digest the fact that even the PTI founder might be and may be subjected to the law of the land, then clearly that's their problem. And I only feel sorry for so many misguided people who are brought all the way from KP, they march all the way from KP, they are made to violate the law of the land, and then once they enter into DJOC, their own political leaders abandon them. Is that not what Bushra Bibi did? Is that not what Ali Mean Gandapur,
KP? Let me come back to you and let's talk more about that. Ali, are you ready? Is the government ready for the kind of civil disobedience? I mean, we don't know what exactly this civil disobedience would be, but is the government ready for whatever it means for the PTI and its founder?
I think I think we've seen something similar in the past. If you remember, when he was Khan Sahab was giving his dharna in I think 2014 or 15, he said, you know, burn all the bills, don't pay your electricity bills. He told overseas Pakistanis don't send money. And the funny part is he was the first person who paid his Bani Gala bill. And you know, you should lead as in, you know, practice what you preach. So I don't think anybody is going to listen to it anymore. I don't think it's anything people will take anything seriously now, because I think, you know, people have, if overseas Pakistanis have to send money to their families, and they will do so. And it's just sad that whatever tactics PTI or Imran Khan is resorting to is trying to hurt the state, and it's trying to hurt the country, Pakistan as a whole, not any party or not the establishment. Whatever they're doing is going to cause problems for a common man, for a Pakistani. I mean, I'll give you an example. You go to the PTI right now, you see a lot of investment is coming into Pakistan. The Pakistani stock exchange has, you know, crossed all limits of the past, broken all records. And now you go to PTI's official page right now, there'll be a video there about some analyst who's saying this is all fake and it's artificial. I mean, what are you trying to do? You cannot digest the fact that Pakistan, which you, by the way, had derailed and was about to go bankrupt, is now on the track, is back on track and is making progress. You know, the rupee is stable against the USD. The stock market is booming. The interest rates are being cut. Inflation is coming down. So the common man is getting relief. And I think that's the fear. That is the entire thing. That now if people start understanding that, look, they might like Khan, they might like PTI, but they'll go like, look, now we can actually compare. When PTI was in the government, what was going on, and now you have the current government, and it's actually giving relief to the people. You have the government in KP. Can you tell me once there's been a press conference regarding some project they're launching, or their CM coming and talking any sense? All the entire government in KP, I mean, look at the lawlessness there. Look at the challenges there. You know, all they're talking about is dharna, protest, final call, last call, missed call. I mean, where is the government of KP? You know, it's just sad state of affairs. And I feel now people are also understanding.
But Ali, do you think, I mean, that said, we have to acknowledge the fact that they are, you know, they do have a lot of seats in the National Assembly. They contend that perhaps they actually have more. But whatever the situation at this time is, they are a political party with seats. They are within the system at this time. No matter what they're doing to get out of it, I don't know. But I mean, as a political party, I'm saying. And they also have a very real presence in KP. Do you think you've been able to erode into their popularity?
I think we don't need to. I think they're doing a very good job themselves. I think the workers, look, you're talking about people who voted for them. Forget about them. I'm talking about the general worker from PTI today is disheartened, is confused. The leadership is not standing with them. They might love Khan. They might want to come out for Khan. But when they come out and they see that there are, as you said yourself, they're the biggest party in the National Assembly, they have the government in KP, how many MPAs, how many MNAs, how many senators came out for this protest? I mean, the entire chairman, the current chairman, Gohar also, what's his name? Gohar Khan. He was also, as soon as the CM left and was on the way, he was chairing some meeting in some conference room with the top leadership of the party. So when the workers see that these guys are not there on ground with us, what kind of inspiration or what kind of motivation will they have to do so? This happened once, now it's happened twice. Once bitten, twice shy. I think the third time they give a call, I don't see anybody coming out for them. Honestly,
come back to you. I'm going to go to Dr. Shezra, do you agree? You think that there is, as far as the party's popularity is concerned, as far as their narrative is concerned, as far as their presence in KP is concerned, that is being damaged in a very real way under the current leadership in the province?
I think that it's very clear to the people that Ali Amin Gandapur, who is the CM of that province and who is supposed to be, governing that province, is really not interested in any form of governance at all. And that is obviously coming from their leader, Imran Khan. He's just following the whatever Imran Khan is saying. So rather than any law and order situation, looking after the law and order situation in KP, which is quite bad at this moment, or doing other things for the public good, Ali Amin Gandapur is all the time just giving these speeches, inciting to violence, and taking people, saying that we are going to, just go and attack the federation or the federal capital or things like that. So the people are very, surely people are understanding, the public is understanding that nothing good is being done for them. And because Imran Khan does think of him as a larger than life person, he does think of himself as the Messiah, and he has put this image of himself as the Messiah who's going to lead everybody out of, whatever dark times they are in. And because he thinks that he is the only person who is on the right path and everybody else is on the wrong path. And this is what he keeps saying. This is why now the last card that you were talking about, it might actually be something like civil disobedience or something like hunger strike or whatever he does, thinking of himself as this great leader. But as was just said a while ago, he cannot be compared to the leaders of that great time who were doing something for a very big cause. What is Imran Khan's cause? What is he demanding? The only thing he's demanding is that he should be let out.
Whatever the illusions of grandeur anyone may have, in terms of how they see themselves as a leader, the question is on ground support. Do you think that on ground, as far as the party is concerned, it's their support and what they want from their leadership is different from what the leadership is able to do, whether we talk about the social media warriors, whether we talk about, even those sitting outside Pakistan, from what the people within the leadership that is on ground can actually do or has been able to do or can come forward. Are those very different, those two things?
As we've seen, there is hardly any support from any of the other provinces now. Punjab, nobody from Punjab came out. There was no support for Punjab, and the reason for that is that Punjab, the people have seen the difference between Buzdar government and what Maryam Nawaz Sharif is doing now. She is doing and taking so many initiatives for the good of the people in all departments, whether it be health, education, the cleanliness, everything. She's doing everything that is possible for the public good. And the public is feeling they're seeing actually the results of all that is being done for them. And therefore, PTI is definitely losing support. Today was a by-election in Sheikhupura, and PML-N won by a landslide victory. Why? Because the PTI support is now no longer there. Because the people of Punjab and all other provinces, except for KP, where they do still have support, I acknowledge that. But now even the people of KP, after the last 2 or 3 times when they have been brought and then abandoned, even they are now not going to come out. So this is why Imran Khan is not going to very soon give a call for another protest, because now people have had enough. It's like that tale of the wolf is coming, where you keep bringing the people out again and again, but at the end they just think that this is all a lie. And it's all, they're going to be taken and then they're just going to be left there without any leadership. So what the keyboard warriors are doing, what is happening in on social media, even the leadership that is here, local leadership, does not agree with all of that, because
that's what I mean. I'm saying that, what social media warriors necessarily, want the on-ground leadership at this time perhaps feel is not the way forward. So there is a difference.
They are maligning the Pakistan army. They are talking against Pakistan as a country. They're doing everything that is against the interest of Pakistan as a country, and that is nothing new. They've been doing it for a long time, be it the IMF loan, be it any people who are coming, like the SEO conference or any other conference. Now there was recently the people who had come, and they wanted to have this protest at exactly the time when somebody is coming. So why is that? This is something that people have started to think, and especially the leadership that is here in Pakistan, think that this is really going against the interest of the country. It's going against the interest of their own party also, because they're not achieving anything by maligning the army or by maligning the other Pakistani institutions like the judiciary or anything. Where is this taking them? It's not taking them anywhere. It's just they're even working against the interests of their own party.
Right. Let me go to Ali. Ali, when as far as the PTI as a political party is concerned, they say that there's little difference. I mean, in terms of the mandate at this time between for example their governance in KP and the governance of the PPP, because we know that you are very much present in the province, also of course part of the alliance. They are not part of the alliance, but they are very much present in KP. Do you think that there is a difference though?
Well, yeah, I think there's a big difference. As I said earlier, if somebody who's taking a day off, for example, doesn't have work and decides to watch TV all day, just pick up the press conferences, the breaking news, and you'll understand that which party is, or which political party, or which government of the province is actually wanting to work for the people, and which party is just wasting time and just creating chaos for everybody else. You're not taking care of the business in your own province, but you're coming to Islamabad to disturb you disturb Islamabad and the peace of that other province. You're engaging all the government resources. Sorry?
But they say that their leader is being wrongly held in jail.
So let the courts decide, right? I mean, let the courts decide. And I think, if from what I last remember, the leader is very firm is a very principled man, right? He said, I won't give NRO, I won't take in an NRO. So isn't this like, in other words, asking for an NRO that, give everything, forgive everything, forget everything, and, release him? I think an honorable man like him, who has always said that, I will never want to give an NRO or take an NRO, then he should stick by it. But again, he was the same person who said, I rather commit suicide before going to IMF. But then he, later on he went to IMF. So anything expected out of them. But this is not how countries are run. This is not how governments are run. And this is, look, even if you want to get the favor of the establishment, even if you want to talk to them, is this the way? Is this, I mean, if somebody wants to talk to me, will they try to irritate me, try to, harass me, try to become a nuisance for me? Or if they really want to speak, they'll say, okay, let's be, meet me in the middle. The kind of demands they have is like, asking for the stars and the moons, like, pack up this government, forget the 26th Amendment, give us back the mandate, which nobody knows what they're talking about. As you said yourself, that they're the largest party in the National Assembly. So basically, even the few seats that all the parties combined got together, they have formed 47 MNAs, but all the seats which PTI got were like prim and proper, and nothing happened there. Everything was fair there. So let's be a bit sensible, show some political maturity, talk sense, then people will come. And the government is really interested, because any ruling party or any government which is in power does not want this nonsense. They want to sit down and handle things. They don't want this chaos. So they're willing to talk, but give them something to play with. You can't just expect them, and there is no central command. Sometimes your wife shows up and starts, first she says, I'm a domestic lady, I'm a housewife, I have nothing to do, I don't know why these cases have been fabricated and made against me. And then next thing you see her, on the container dictating terms and telling people, and then you see her fleeing the scene and saying, now you see her after all this time coming on the media and saying, I was there, and this CDR there, you have your mobile phone locations. In this day and age, you can't lie, and it's not like Stone Age back in the day when you just lie and get away with it. Everybody knows where she was, when she left, how she left, under what conditions she left. I mean, people are not fools anymore. You can't fool them.
Right. Muneeb, as an, of course, as a lawyer also, but as an analyst, when you look at what PTI as a political party and their graph, how do you look at the next, for example, 2 years for the political party and their narrative? Do you think that, it is being punctured successfully? Or do you think that, that narrative or that we've also seen, that ideology of how they are being wronged is finding more ground? How do you look at the graph overall?
I believe that this descent and continuous descent into downward spiral, as far as PTI's current situation is concerned, it will only get deeper and deeper and more chaotic for the party, because the party itself is based on chaos. Chaos is exactly what PTI feeds on, and it's coming from the very top of the PTI ranks, by which I mean to say the particular person sitting in Adiala jail. It's him and it's his vision. And his vision is actually visionless, which is, yes, self-contradictory, but then that is what sums up PTI's politics, self-contradictory and also self-defeating. So, for example, they had manufactured this whole narrative of interference from the US. And then they are the very same people, PTI, who are lobbying within US power corridors for relief for the man sitting in a Adiala jail. And then again, Bushra Bibi in a video, she tried to insinuate that it was somehow Saudi hand behind Imran Khan, behind, the PTI founders ouster. And then they backtracked on that as well. And they said, oh, whatever Bushra Bibi is saying is not the party stance, because she's a private person. But then this so-called private person was seen inciting people in D-Chalk on 26th November until she abandoned her own followers. So what narrative do they even have? I don't understand, because there is not any one single narrative. There are narratives tailored according to the exigencies of the situation. And that is not how political parties are run. And that is not how countries are run. And that explains that despite them being the single largest party in the National Assembly, I mean, that's what they claim, they have not been able to form government because they were not able to, bridge the divide with other political parties. And that is what you need when you do not have enough majority to be able to form a government. And what they're trying to do is now is to get onto the streets and manufacturing lies. So it's not narratives, it's lies. I'm not saying that. Deutsche Welle, which is DW, German publication, they have recently published an article where they have highlighted the use of artificial intelligence in PTI's 26th November related claims, showing Islamabad streets being splashed with blood. But that is not a real picture. That is manufactured. So those kinds of things. And what happens is that they feed on virality. So they've got these bot social media accounts, which the keyboard warriors keep spreading and spreading and spreading. And the agenda is that lie so much and lie so continuously that those lies become the truth. But lies do not become the truth, no matter how many times you reiterate those lies.
Right. Let me come back to you. We also have with us Fakhar Yousafzai, who's a senior journalist. Thank you for being with us. Fakhar sir, we're talking about, of course, the trajectory of PTI as a political party and the fact that, there's, of course, there have been different narratives, and like Muneeb just highlighted, they don't make sense. I mean, there's no coherence when you look at the past and the... But now, in terms of the civil disobedience which is being talked about, what do you expect from the party under the leadership of a man who is, incarcerated? What kind of a civil disobedience is it going to be?
I think so. When their leader was here in 2014, he applied this formula. At that time as well, in 2014, he announced that civil disobedience.
The bills and all, yes.
In Dichok. And right now, the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government, the Chief Minister Gandapur, announced this, that we are going for the civil disobedience. I don't know what they can do and why they are announcing like this. If you want to protest, you can talk to the federal government for your rights. Of course, you should talk to them. But I think so this is not a good thing that you are going for civil disobedience and you are announcing that for what you will do. You will ban electricity bills and things like that, which we have seen 10 years ago. Yes, in Dichok, and their leader have did it. I think so. This is not a politics. I think so. This is an agitation, which is right now we cannot afford it in Pakistan. We need the unity, special with the federal government, with the other provinces, and of course all the political parties should set. 2 days ago, the APC called by the governor Faisal Karim Kundi Saab, but PTI was not there. Why? Because they were talking about the problems of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Why the PTI was absent? I think so. This is unfortunate. I will say, as a resident of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa.
Do you think that this kind of reality is permeating within KP now and their voter base? Is it finally, are the voters realizing that there's something very wrong in the way that the province is overall being governed?
Yeah, the people are not happy from the governance. I will say this openly, and I think so. If you will talk with any resident of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, they are not happy from the governance of this government or even the last government of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. But actually,
and yet they voted for them.
Yeah, of course, this is third time they are voting for them. This is third consecutive term. But
so do you think it's eroding into their voter base? That is my question now.
Yeah, of course. I think so. It will be. We can know and we can see this in the next election. Not right now, because they have elected.
But what is the sentiment overall?
The sentiment is, as well as the governance is concerned, not good. In the people of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, they are not happy, totally not happy from the PTI government. But I think so, which happened in 26 might be, as Muneeb said, that they are lying about so many things. But I think so. This is that incident was not good for the federal government as well as for the for those people.
But what about mobilizing people for protests as far as KP is concerned, and then leaving them? Do you think that also has had an impact overall? For when they want people to come again, again, if they call people and their voters from KP particularly, are they not extremely exhausted of towing a party line which is not echoed by all party leaders even? Yeah,
of course. Actually, the things, all the party leaders are not on one page with each other. We know about the statement, their statement. Every person have their own statement. The Bushra Bibi statement,
even the events
the Govt statement.
Yeah,
this is totally different from each other. And I think so it's affecting their protester, their crowd, of course, they will impacting that. And they asking the question from their government and from the PTI leadership that every time you told us that we will go to the D-Chok and after that you will disappear from there. And this is, I think so, the morale is getting down of their protester as well as their supporter.
Let me go to Ali. I'll come back to you. Ali, morale, which we talk about, which Fakhar Saab is also talking about, there was a hope, I think, at least with the leader of PTI, the former Prime Minister, and perhaps, even maybe some other leaders overall, that perhaps this morale would be able, they would be able to reinforce that under his wife's leadership, perhaps. Do you think that is still a possibility after the varying narratives of that same varying events, of that same evening that we've seen when the protest was held? Even there seems to be, the accounts are different, and of course there seems to be clear in fighting also at this time.
Absolutely. I feel had his wife come out and even if they would have played good cop bad cop, and she was a bit softer and she was willing to speak and she was trying to reach out to the parties and the establishment, etc., whoever they want to speak to, it would be a different story. But she's actually, look, why were they out there to protest? Were they trying to show that the people are with Khan, that he's no, you already know he's won seats and people sympathy vote or whatever. People do support him to a certain extent. We all know that. The whole purpose of them coming out was to get Khan out of jail, release. I think that's one point agenda which they have right now, that they want Imran Khan to come out. If they actually want that, I just want to know, by whatever they did, has this made their position better or worse? I think the answer is very clear. It's made it worse. Does anybody want to speak to them now? No. And whatever happened, happened. Sometimes things don't go as planned. What are you doing now? Fake news, making up stuff, trying to create chaos. First they said, and I'm surprised and shocked, leaders who are seasoned, they've been around for a very long time, are coming out and saying stuff like, I have 200 dead bodies in my at my house right now outside. I think it was Kosa who said something like that, and just making up stuff, trying to rile the public, trying to just create chaos and madness, and just try to somehow destabilize the government and in the process the country. And they choose to do it every time when some delegation is coming or some country is coming to invest into Pakistan or talk about trade. So now the intentions are looking very shady to me. That what are you trying to achieve? Because you're clearly not trying to help Imran Khan. Because this kind of behavior, this kind of whatever you're doing is actually making things worse for him. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what agenda Bushra Bibi is towing, or what, because they're not on the same page. The leadership, she's super rude to them. She's not an educated lady. Apparently, the way she stormed into the meeting, which PTI was having, she started abusing. She started using very foul language. A lot of people just wanted to leave the party. So, things don't look very good for them. And I don't think they're in the position to talk to anybody, because I feel, and I've been saying this for a very long time, that they need to sit down and talk amongst themselves first, decide what they want and how they want to play it, and then maybe they can decide that, what they want to do. And then, Imran Khan comes out of the blue saying, I have one last card and I'm going to do this. And come on, it's not an Indian movie going on, Bollywood or something. It's not going to, things don't work like that.
Right. Let me go to Muneeb. Muneeb, this is what I earlier wanted to get to, what Ali has just mentioned. He's spoken about the fact that, the narrative itself and the fact that, they want to bring their leader out because he enjoys a certain amount of support, because they believe that he's being wronged. Like you said, that narrative is, it hinges on, inaccuracies, different versions of the truth, and nothing. When you break it down, the coherency isn't there. But the question is, when you try to puncture that narrative, do you think that government has overall been successful in being able to puncture that narrative? We agree that it's wrong, we agree that it's not cohesive, we agree that it's based on fallacies, but the question is, have they been able to puncture it, or is it too much of a cult following to erode like that? How do you look at it?
So I believe that the government hasn't really done anything out of the ordinary, extraordinary in countering false narratives. I think that the only party which is countering the PTI's false narratives is PTI itself, ironically. So I think that PTI is now it has started losing the narrative wars, and it's solely because of PTI's own incompetence, not the government or the ruling party's competence. Because I think that there's much, much more they need to do in countering false propaganda, whilst also ensuring that ordinary people like me, our lives are not disrupted. I mean, our access to internet is not disrupted. Every single time that Ali Gandapur decides that he is going to cause mayhem, somehow, our mobility should not be affected. So the government needs to strike that balance. But I mean, PTI.
On that note, let me go to Shezra on this, and then I'll come back to you. Shezra, exactly that. What Muneeb is saying. We know that the government has the business of governance, and that of course takes it takes a precedence over everything else. But in terms of puncturing their narrative is concerned, do you believe that the government has been successful, or do you think that they'll expose themselves regardless over time, like it's happening?
Well, there are two things. One is that the kind of setup that they have with what has been called online terrorism, which is very adept at spreading fake news, making up false narratives, and then they are very quick at even going back on their own narrative when a new narrative comes on. Because we have seen that in the way that when Imran Khan was ousted by the vote of no confidence, first he said that it was the US who had ousted him, then he said it was General Bajwa who had done it, then he said he came up with about 4 or 5 different people whom he held responsible for this. So they have a whole setup. The government, on the other hand, is concerned and focused on, first of all, we were concerned with making Pakistan more stable, and because it was on the verge of default when the PTI government left it. And so the government, the Prime Minister and his team were focused on getting Pakistan out of that default mode, getting the IMF loan through, and then putting Pakistan at least in a position where we were going on the right path as far as the economic indicators were concerned. And alhamdulillah, we have been successful in that. As you can see, inflation has gone down, the policy rate has gone down. We're getting foreign investment now. So many people from different countries are coming. The Belarus delegation was here today, and we were getting the interest of people from other countries to invest in Pakistan. So we are focused on that, no doubt about that. The second thing is that because we are, we try not to stop people by force. The government does not want that. The government has offered PTI the option to talk on the table. The government has offered PTI the option to have their say in the parliament. If they say that they are the largest party over there, then they should be using that platform to have their say. But the PTI does not believe in any of this. The PTI's mission and their outlook is to destabilize Pakistan. Because if they wanted to if they had some legitimate concern about anything, then they would want to sit on the table and talk with the other political parties and other political forces. But they keep refusing to do that, despite the fact that they've been offered multiple times to do that. So their focus is not on that. And we have seen that again and again, whatever action they've been taking, it is towards either destabilizing Pakistan or, having some kind of a narrative which...
Right. Thank you so much for being with us. Dr. Shezra Mansab Ali, thank you for being with us today. Mohammed Ali Rashid, thank you for your time. Muneeb Qadir, thank you for joining us today. Fakhar Yousafzai, thank you for being with us today. Overall, as a political party, when we talk about civil disobedience, whether we talk about the protests, whether we talk about agitation, that we've consistently seen PTI as a political party use, perhaps now is a time for them to revisit strategy and think about serious kind of talks or a more conciliatory approach that may be beneficial for the party and their cohesiveness as a whole, and also perhaps with their governance in KP, whether we talk about their political acumen and towards not eroding the kind of voter base, whatever that they have. Those perhaps need to be the considerations for the party and moving forward. Thank you so much for joining us today on Perspective.